Hello, everybody, and welcome back. I'm Karex, so we're continuing on with the Democracy 4 as Germany. And in the last episode, we kind of mentioned that we wanted to take a look at our nuclear program, because I think currently Germany's in the process of decommissioning a number or all of their nuclear power plants. And they're actually kind of seems to me at least somewhat counterintuitively using like coal and in place, as they obviously eventually moving towards like renewables and stuff like that. But yeah, so as we decommission the nuclear fission, we are actually increasing oil demand. The environmentalists do like getting rid of the nuclear fission. But honestly, decommission existing models. I'm thinking like let's ramp this thing back up. Huge. This technology doesn't go up in big chunks, so this is a big bump to technology. It's a big bump to GDP. Whereas right now GDP is actually in the hole because of this decision. CO2 emissions go down. Again, this is nuclear is a low CO2. I mean, very low on emissions. Nuclear is a pretty clean energy and it's very safe. But this would be 3 billion, right? We have a surplus right now, but it's a small surplus of 400 million. But I think that could be kind of cool. We definitely could start spending some of this money to better the lives of the peeps. Corporate exodus. Okay. Let's. You know what? I'm gonna humor myself here. What if we actually brought down the corporate tax? We would be losing 10 billion euros worth of income. It probably would get rid of the uncompetitive economy and the corporate exodus. There's got to be something else we can do about that. We'll worry about that later. Those two things are a problem. It looks like obesity is going down because of the junk food tax. Food Standards Agency is actually kicking in as well. This is very popular amongst the voters. Rather cheap, only 2 political capital. Let's max this out. This is going to bring down obesity a bit more. But that is on the way down at the moment, which is good. Here we got Reforestation should be bringing this down. You can see it's starting to come down a little bit. But in a few turns, it'll come down even more. The positive environment, as the environment goes up, it should bring that. Or maybe I can't tell if this is, you want this to be low or if you want this to be high. Because obviously keeping the country clean and things like that. Keep the country tidy campaign. Yeah, so I'm confused. Why is this not going up? Well, maybe it's just going down because the GDP is on the way up, right? GDP is going up. Car usage. Okay, I was actually kind of looking how we could actually do bus lanes. Bus usage would go up. When bus usage goes up, car usage goes down. Alternatively, we could actually subsidize buses. I'm actually wondering, are there fancier, more future public transit options that we could do? Public services. Transportation, it's its own section. Subsidized school buses. State subsidies for school buses ensures that every school kid has an efficient and safe journey to school. Is this not something that's like enacted by default? Whilst reducing the number of short school run trips carried out by parents, thus reducing traffic on the roads, parents are also happier knowing that there are proper approved school buses. Bus usage goes up. Again, when bus usage goes up, it reduces car usage. Telecommuting initiative. This would reduce car usage and reduce the commuter membership. Trade unionists like this. Telecoms industry likes this. Productivity goes up. Commuters like this. Is very popular with the. Honestly, this looks like a cool thing to do. It's only 2 political capital. Let's do that. It's going to cost us a little bit, but because it does seem like we have a little bit of a motor issue from what I could see brewing in the background. What was it that popped up? There was something that popped up that told us that we were going to have some congestion, traffic congestion and stuff, which could be a disaster. High-speed rail subsidies. This would be really fun. Obviously, this is rather expensive, but free bus passes. Every 100% popularity with the voters. Who doesn't like free bus passes? Let's go. Now I don't have enough to do nuclear, do I? We'll do the nuclear adjustment next. We'll save these 8 political capital points, and we'll do that in the next go. Imminent situation. Multinational tax evasion. Our technology is going up, so that's why this is going up. Sales tax. We could look at bringing down the sales tax, but honestly, global economy was riding high. It's going to be coming back down, it looks like. What was the other things here? Expand public rights of way. As we build more houses in our country, once open land that was used by walkers and hikers is increasingly becoming closed off and considered private property. Socialist campaigners have protested these changes and are calling for an expansion of protected public rights of way. Private land is private land, regardless of whether it's farmland, industrial land, or somebody's garden or yard. The idea that because people have taken a certain path for many years, they should continue to have the right to trespass on private property is ridiculous. Now, I believe there's actually some pretty strong rights of way for, in Scandinavia, I've heard of this, where essentially, yeah, if you go find a creek, you can go fishing in it. Like, it's not a big deal. It's not like someone owns that creek and they own the fish in that creek and, you know, stuff like that. People's ability to go and, I mean, the thing is, in Europe, this is a particularly interesting problem, right? Just because the density of the countries, right? The finite amount of space and the thousands of years these areas have been being developed. Although I guess industrialization is, you know, more recent mass development, but still, like, there's a finite amount of space, so you run into these issues. I mean, I don't know. Someone's garden or yard. I mean, obviously that's weird, but that's not what we're talking about here. We're talking about like just generic farmland or even unused land that just happens to be private property. So they expand the rights of way. So much of our country is now private property that people's access to open countrysides is worryingly restricted. Does it really matter, farmer, if a few walkers or hikers occasionally cross their land on designated footpath? We should ensure that open countryside and footpaths are easily accessible to everyone. Yes. Farmers don't like this. Well, you know, we don't have that many farmers. It's the 21st century. Okay, so that's been taken care of. Polling reports. Is this good? Voting intentions. So it seems like we're polling very well from what I could tell there. I'm not sure, but it seems like we're polling very well. Let's go to our nuclear. Yeah, we're running a deficit now, but you know what? It's less of a deficit than we had. We're going full on nuclear fission, getting those power plants back online. The other thing that I actually saw that I thought was kind of interesting, schooling, right? Increasing the schooling would be quite good. Would be quite good. Also, right now we have a science emphasis, but it would be nice to move over to secular. Liberals like this, and of course most of our country is liberals, and right now there's a lot of room for them to be more happy with us. In fact, right now they're actually upset with the fact that there's only a science emphasis, that it isn't completely secular. So I think we do want to, I don't know if we'll have the political capital go all the way to the end. Actually, it's kind of weird too, because it says atheist up here. And it's like, if the education system is secular, that means it's like, you know, like, I don't know if there's a point in being like atheist education, which in practicality, that secular and that are probably the same. But if this is implying that this would be like pro, like I would say that you should be more, the education should be more just ignoring of religion rather than like beating it down, right? I mean, if you just have a good education system and people are educated, you know, in the sciences, I think that kind of takes care of itself. But yeah, upgrading that would be good. Obviously, there's huge gains to be increasing just the quality of education in general. It's very expensive, but to do something like this would have all kinds of benefits for reducing unemployment, increasing the state employees, and reducing unemployment, and also educating your citizens better so they can compete more for jobs, reducing poverty. Yeah, this would be all good mostly, but it does look like it's rather expensive for us right now. Science funding. I mean, it would be nice to raise this too. I mean, look at these benefits. State employees, so unemployment goes down a bit. GDP would go way up. Actually, I'm kind of curious. How's our GDP doing right now, according to like the where's the charts? These are about voters. I don't care about voters. These are threats. We're not worried about any threats right now. What is this? Charts. There we go. Where's our GDP? Relative GDP. So it's not like maxed. Because it is possible to max it out just because this is a video game and there's like a limitation to how the simulation is, the boundaries of the simulation. GDP actually can be maxed, so I just wanted to make sure that it does have room to grow, and it looks like it has pretty strong room to grow. You know, what the heck? Let's invest. Let's invest in our country. We could run at a deficit. We had a deficit when we started. We're doing fine. So let's get the sciences online. Right now, how much political capital do we have left? We still have 10. We could go looking. We could go fishing for something here. We could add and introduce a new kind of tax, potentially. Health food subsidies is usually really good. Corporate exodus. It would, really? Oh no, what were we clicked on? Sorry. An automation tax. Trade unionists would really like this. Potential income of 11 billion. But it does increase the, it reduces industrial automation. Optimization, what am I talking about? People would not want a plastic bag tax, but they really wanted the packaging tax for whatever reason. People are weird. Cryptocurrency taxation, this could be kind of interesting. Now, the cryptocurrency adoption was negatively affecting organized crime, I think, wasn't it? I think there was some metric that we saw that under. It was next to the gambling. I'm pretty sure it was organized crime, which is kind of an interesting thing there, but punitive wealth tax. I don't even know if that needs to have the word punitive there, right? It even says there's nothing wrong with wealth as such. I don't know if it needs to say punitive there, but just a wealth tax, right? The idea of a wealth tax. Not that crazy. Actually, I wonder if there's any countries in the world that have like sort of like a flat wealth tax. Presumably if it's in this list, it's not already applied to Germany, so Germany doesn't have one of these by default. Or, you know, I mean, again, the game simplifies things quite a bit too, so. They're doing something like this 5 billion potential income, luxury goods tax, not much to be made from that. A graduate tax? Woof. This would have a lot of potential income, but basically people that graduate from the public education system, presumably from public university education, get a good job, and then they sort of have to pay back. I think is what this is. Taxes is dedicated tax levied purely on people graduating from university as a way of them contributing to the cost of their university tuition. Yeah, the youth, of course, would. This is definitely regressive, but there's a lot of potential income from that. Ooh, flat income tax rather than a progressive one? Oof. Financial transactions tax. 4 billion to be made here. But it does increase the corporate exodus. Empty homes tax. There's some stuff here we could maybe enact. There's some stuff we could maybe enact to try to make a little bit of those. We talked about reducing the military budget. Yeah, we talked about reducing the military budget. Yeah, I think we reduce it down to here basically. Reserves, just have people on reserve. Yeah, like right there, and that'll save us about 7 billion. And there's not really too many people that actually be upset about that. Let's do that. Oh, that's not good. Some things happening. Crime is going down. GDP is going up. Health is going up. Things are looking good, I have to say. Things are looking good. It looks like some of the dudes in our cabinet are not doing great, though. Let's reduce this like we said we would. Just thematically, I'm going to bring this right above so that it says reserves. Why'd the military cost go down? Now it's saying 4.9 billion. Either way, let's apply this change. Okay, we have 20 political capital still, which is quite a bit. We should be making a chunk from that reduction. The police force, it's not costing us that much. This is not to say how armed the police force is. This is just to say how well we fund the police force. I actually kind of like the idea of doing this. Reduces corruption, reduces antisocial behavior, reduces alcohol. I mean, really giving them more funding and more support, and also having a variety of different kinds of people working within the police force, or just sort of, public community watch and different kinds of people that respond to different kinds of, like, we could thematically say that this is even investing in people for, like, mental health situations and calls and stuff like that, mental health professionals and stuff too. I like how they separate this from how armed the police are, right? So, like, where is that exactly? It's up here, I think. So you can have, like, a minimally armed police force, but you can have a maximum police force, right? Like, or you can have a very armed police force, but have it at a minimum quantity. You could kind of go very different ways with it, really. I like how it says specialists. Oh, I think what it's saying is saying, like, what is it saying? Like SWAT or something like that are allowed to be armed and such. I actually kind of like the idea of raising this up. It just seems to have a lot of beneficial effects. It's going to reduce the antisocial behavior. It's going to reduce some of the crime and stuff that's relating to organized crime and stuff. Yeah, let's do this. And yet thematically, we'll just see that as an investment in not in a militarization of the police force, but just an investment in communities in the police force. Yeah, this is going to be coming down fast now. That's going to be coming down fast. And this is negatively affecting tourism, which goes into GDP, which is a pretty big factor for GDP. It's negatively affecting the conservatives. I don't think we have too many conservatives in the country, but, and it's increasing crime, so reducing crime will be good. This is coming down, but I don't know if there's much more that will continue to push this down, but this is coming down. Tobacco usage is actually on the rise. This negatively affects health. This would be a way to make some more money as well. Yeah, what the heck? Let's raise it to 30% there. Heck, in many ways, that's kind of a moderate tax. And I'm gonna cancel this. I'm gonna wait till we can, let's actually raise that even higher. I just want to make sure we have room when we get these 22. We'll have room for all the political capital. We'll go to the next turn. Improved tenancy rights. Currently a proposal to increase the rights of tenants in rented accommodation. The fear of being suddenly thrown out of your home or having your rent raised to unaffordable levels or waiting ages for repairs is making rented accommodations extremely undesirable, and tenants are demanding something is done. Keep the current rights. Improve tenant rights. We do actually have a lot of capitalists in our... Oh, interestingly enough... Where'd they go? So we have more state employees than capitalists, and most of the state employees love us, which is kind of interesting. And we still can make a lot of leeway on doing things that the liberals would be more excited about. What was that tobacco tax? Should be down here in the tax section, right? There it is. I'm kind of tempted just to crank this sucker up. Oh, everyone would be upset about this. Maybe we only want to move it up that much. That's a lot of political capital to do that. Yeah, let's save our political capital and just up it as much as we can there. But that should help with the respiratory disease, hopefully, by bringing down tobacco usage quite a bit. Yeah, that should balance out with the GDP, and that should come down a notch. Obesity is actually about to not be an issue anymore. That's going to dramatically improve health. Health's already at like the top of the top right now, which is kind of interesting. So our health is actually really good. If we wanted to do some things to actually hurt our health a little bit, that could be something we could do. And the police force is maxed. Alcohol consumption should still be coming down as the alcohol awareness, but the alcohol tax, dang, is that, what else can we do here? Alcohol consumption, legal drug consumption. So if we increased legal access to legal drugs, it would actually reduce. Legalize cannabis. I think we go big or go home here, guys. I'm not seeing many negative effects to this. Why is it saying crime's going to go up? See, that's a little bit... Unless this idea that, like... I mean, you're legalizing something that is now criminalized, so the crime would go down. Unless it's making it seem like, oh, well, if people are running around doing marijuana, then they'll be committing crimes. You know, like, that's a very kind of, like... I don't know if that's actually, like, a legitimate argument. If you legalize criminal activity, it reduces crime, so I'm not sure why. It's also... Yeah, it's green, so it's saying it'll raise... Yeah, it's saying crime will be raised. I don't quite get that. If we click on crime right now... I mean, alcohol abuse and antisocial behavior, if those go away, crime would reduce significantly. Significantly. I can kind of see how alcohol consumption can cause crime, in a sense, right? I guess that's the logic for all of these causing crime, but I really think that's like a very odd, you know, people just in their homes responsibly using these drugs. I don't know if that, I think the net change would be less crime, but there you go. That's the game here for you. You know, it almost seems like there should be two different things here. There should be a difference between decriminalizing something and legalizing it, right? Because in actuality, there is a fine line between those, right? There is a difference between decriminalizing something and legalizing something. Those are two separate steps. So it kind of seems like you can have something like this is, oh, this is legalized, but at least it'd be nice if, like, okay, maybe we could say it's legalized up to you know, cannabis and LSD, but maybe for these they're decriminalized, but maybe they're not legalized, right? Like to have Something like that would be kind of nice. Anyways, I kind of like the idea of going up to at least like here. So we need 32 political capital for that. We have room, it looks like, to carry over the political capital that we have now. Let's do that. Technology. Oh, this is interesting. Honestly, if this guy wanted to get fired, that would be totally fine. Commuters and religious. Oh, he's a religious guy? Antisocial behavior is gone. That's going to be huge. Airport extension. Planning permission has been requested for the expansion of some of the country's largest airports. There's simply not enough capacity for the number of flights that want to land here. Our tourism industry is very dependent on air travel. If we want to expand tourism, providing more jobs and growth in GDP, we must make more air capacity available. We need to act now to ensure that we have the increased capacity and time. Air travel is pollution nightmare. It is, but we can reduce in other ways to allow ourselves an allowance for air travel. Air travel, it's like there is no alternative to air travel in what air travel provides, right? So yes, while we can look at it and say it's environmentally terrible, it's also like there is no technology, even in the short foreseeable future, that replaces this issue. But there are ways that we can make gains in other ways and then have a net positive effect by making other differences. So we could just say air travel is like our allowance, our pollution allowance is going to be spent on air travel, and we'll compensate by reforesting or doing other things like that, or sucking out CO2 out of the air, or whatever, carbon capture or something like that. Both air and noise pollution cause problems, and we should not encourage air travel. Yeah, I'm not actually too keen on this. It's tough to say no. Let's not delay. Let's allow the expansion. Let's allow the expansion. Imminent situation. Ooh, pollution. The environment's trying to bring this down. Reforestation's bringing this down. GDP's pushing this up. Car usage. We're still trying to bring down car usage, but it looks like I don't think this is going to trigger, but it is tight right there. It really is tight right there. Looks like it took a big spike up, maybe with GDP increase, or maybe with this air travel increase. Yeah. But that might go up a little bit. I feel like we could probably do some things to reduce car travel though. But look at this technological advantage. Let's go. It looks like our country is leading the world in a number of major areas of science and technology. This is great news for our economy, as it means we have a major advantage over our competitors. Let's go. Corporate exodus. Yes, this is a big reduction to corporate exodus. Whoops, I just bonked into I just like swung my hands and bonked into something. Hopefully that might actually get rid of it now. That's going to be huge. Let's go. In fact, it's gone. Oh no, it's not. It's going to be gone. Holy cow, uncompetitive economy is gone. We outpowered the oh no, it's up here. Whoops, it just moved. Although that is coming down pretty sharply. Productivity is bringing it down, right? We're increasing productivity through technology and stuff. That's interesting. Well, that's really cool. So hopefully we'll get rid of this, and once we get rid of this, it won't be negatively affecting our GDP, and that might tie into our uncompetitive economy and help this potentially or something. I don't know. We'll have to see. It's exciting stuff. Guys, thanks everybody for watching this episode. We will be back in the next episode as we continue to lead Germany to excellence and to really just for re-election. We have a 10 billion euro surplus. Even though we've been spending money, we now have a surplus because everything's humming. People are in good health. People are employed. The GDP is doing well. Like it's these investments in the infrastructure of our country, the education of our country are paying off, and investments in the people and the energy and everything. There we go. That's awesome. That's awesome to see. Guys, we'll be back in the next episode. Playlist link down below. If you guys have any questions, comments, or feedback, I'd love to hear it in the comments. I read all the comments, guys. I read all the comments. I respond to 90% of them. If there's something to respond to, I respond to all of the ones that are questions. But guys, thanks everybody for being here. I'll see you guys in the next episode.